Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Jessica
and I'm Jennifer,
and today we're talking about shedding. We're talking all about shedding, how to prevent it, how to stop your hair from shedding,
what to use to stop your hair from shedding.
So stay tuned. So if you guys want to know all about shedding, we've actually done a video on this previously and we shared what helped us to stop shedding. But this is pretty much the process of your hair shedding a lot of hair. I mean, our hair naturally sheds. It sheds a number of hairs every day. But when your hair is shedding way more than usual in clumps, then you actually have to do something about it. If you notice that there's hair in your drain, there's hair all around your house, on your bed, when you brush your hair, a lot more hair is coming out. This isn't really normal and you probably should do something about it.
Yeah.
So we're going to be sharing with you our first tip. This has always worked on what you can do to actually stop your hair from shedding, and that is black tea rinsing. So what is so amazing about black tea is that it contains properties that block the hormone called DHT, and this hormone is known for causing shedding. This hormone has been linked to alopecia and it has been linked to hair loss and shedding, and black tea helps to fight this hormone, so it's so important. If you guys aren't trying anything else we suggest in this video, I would suggest that you try black tea. This is the holy grail when it comes to shedding. Some people also try out green tea because this has less caffeine. When it comes to caffeine, you have to understand that it could dry out your system as well as it could dry out your hair. So it's something that you use temporarily for results. But if you are worried about drying out your scalp, I would suggest you try out green tea. Black tea is the most effective despite the caffeine. So that is why we use black tea.
Yes.
So we're going to take you through the process of us making the black tea rinse. So we usually use a spray bottle. So I think we've shown this plastic spray bottle that we always tend to use. It's just easy for us to use this so that we can actually spray directly to the scalp. And we always use about 5 tea bags. If you actually don't want it to be too strong, you can use 3 tea bags. You have to understand that black tea has more caffeine than coffee. Let that sink in. So basically we actually boil the bags in a pot as usual. We just put a certain amount of water, what you think will be enough. Usually allow this to boil for about 5 minutes so that it can actually boil out and make your black tea. Once you have your black tea ready, it will be best for you to let it cool down for a few hours so that it is completely warm or room temperature and safe to put on top of your scalp. Once the tea is ready, you could transfer it to your spray bottle. This is just for easy application. It's for you to even store it if you choose to store it for a bit. But this allows for you to spray it directly onto your scalp. And that is another tip, guys. The black tea is best sprayed onto your scalp and not necessarily the body of your hair, because the scalp is directly where the shedding starts from. So it's best to spray it directly. So this allows for easy application. So you can now section your hair in 4 like we always suggest. And this is for easy access. Take each section and start to spray the tea on each section, on the scalp of each section. You don't have to worry about the body of your hair. It doesn't necessarily need to be on the body of your hair, but just spray it directly on the scalp. And once you're done, you could wear your bonnet or you could wear your shower cap and leave it on for 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
This just allows for it to penetrate. This allows for it to block the DHT. This allows for the black tea to work its magic. You will notice that your scalp is quite dry, which is what it usually does. But this is why it is best to do this after a shampoo. where your hair is clean and your scalp is cleansed, and then you can actually put the black tea on your scalp. Once it has worked its magic on your scalp, then you can proceed to conditioning and then deep conditioning. This allows it to now replenish the moisture back into your hair so that your hair doesn't dry out from the black tea. But let me tell you, just those 30 to 40 minutes does its magic, and for the next 2 weeks, you should see results. You should see less shedding. You should see less hair strands coming out when you comb your hair. I mean, whenever we do this, we barely see any hair strands snap out or come out. This just kind of really releases all the shedding. It stops your hair from being weak and falling off so easily. And this is the best tip. If you don't try out any of the tips we suggest, we really suggest you try out a black tea rinse.
Yes.
So the second tip that really helps combat shedding is moisturizing and sealing. Guys, we've talked about this so many times. I personally experienced it when I moved to a hot climate and I didn't moisturize and seal my hair. My hair was coming out in clumps. Guys, my hair was dry, it was brittle, and it was coming out in clumps. And we always recommend that you should moisturize and seal daily. If you can't do that and you're too lazy, maybe you should try every other day. But we always recommend to moisturize and seal. We've shown different kinds of moisturizers that you can use on your hair. And if you don't have that, like we've said, we use water. We use rose water, sometimes we use aloe vera juice, and we just mix in a few essential oils, and that just works perfectly. But do not neglect moisturizing and sealing your hair. This really helps to combat shedding. When your hair is moisturized, it's healthy and it does not shed. The next point that stops shedding is deep conditioning, and this is also a holy grail. I would say this is something that you should be incorporating regardless of your hair shedding, and this really allows your hair to hold on to moisture. This really strengthens your hair and prevents breakage. I would say that deep conditioning is one of the best things that you could incorporate for your hair, and I would just say get a very good deep conditioner, a moisture one or a protein one. I would actually recommend you do a protein deep conditioner once a month, and then I would recommend every single week to do a moisture deep condition. This really just strengthens your hair, and everybody knows that strong hair leads to long hair and also thick, healthy hair.
Yeah.
So a tip that is heavily overlooked is your diet. What we've always realized is that everything starts within. So if you're experiencing shedding outwards, it really just starts from within. So most of the time you have to take a look at your diet or the vitamins that you're consuming and see, are you lacking anything? Shedding has been heavily linked to a lack of zinc and iron, a deficiency in zinc and iron. So you also have to check your diet and see if you're lacking any of these vitamins. And in general, are you eating healthy vegetables? Are you eating fish? Are you consuming water? You have to make sure you're consuming fruits, you're consuming healthy foods to make sure that your hair is actually reflecting that as well. But I'll say if you know that you're not eating a balanced diet, always make sure you're taking hair supplements. I don't know if you've watched our supplements videos, but we've actually done one where we recommended certain supplements that really help to keep your hair healthy and prevent shedding. If you're also wondering what food you should be eating to really supplement your hair growth and stop your hair from shedding, we did a video about the superfoods you should be eating to grow your hair thick and long. I'll also link that down below, so I think you should watch it and that'll give you an idea of what kinds of foods that you should be eating. Talking about diet also, in terms of wellness and taking care of yourself, you need to minimize stress. And I feel like this is undermined so much. You find some people saying, I've tried everything from shedding, I eat well, and I use black tea rinses, and I've done all this, and they're wondering why their hair is still shedding. Don't underestimate what stress would do to your body. Like, your body will literally shut down, not just the organs, but also your hair will shut down and stop growing, or your hair will start falling out. And there are cases where you can even have like a bald patch in the middle of your hair randomly from stress. I've seen this happen to someone. Yes, so guys, it's so important. Don't let it get to that point, because sometimes it's hard to recover from these bald patches. But once you start to notice that stress is taking a toll on your body, do slow down, start to take care of your health, start to take care of your inner well-being, what you're eating, take care of yourself and slow down, and you'll start to see your hair start to recover. So the next tip that I would recommend to actually prevent shedding is regular trimmings. We always recommend that you guys trim regularly. Every 3 to 6 months, we always try to actually do this because sometimes we are lacking. But we always also recommend that you use shears shears that are not blunt to trim your hair, because we've had bad experiences. We've gone to a salon before where the person that was trimming our hair brought out Crayola scissors that were blunt and trimmed our hair, and I think it took me a year to recover from this. My ends were bad, were brittle, my hair was shedding badly. So we always recommend that you get really good shears and you actually make sure that they are not blunt. You can get brand new ones from any beauty supply store, and also trim your hair every 3 to 6 months to prevent shedding. I would actually recommend every 3 months, and if you feel like your hair is flourishing, then maybe you could do 6 months.
Yeah.
So the last tip is trying out a lot of DIY that strengthens your hair. If you want your hair to be a lot more stronger, you want to hold on to those hair strands, you want to maintain the thickness and growth of your hair, I would suggest you try out rice water. I'm sure everybody knows about rice water by now. This is almost like a protein treatment, and it really strengthens your hair. You notice that you hold on to more hair strands.
Yeah.
Also chebe, we filmed a video on chebe recently.
Yeah.
I'll link that down below as well. Chebe really helps you retain length. I noticed that there's a lot less shedding once I use chebe. It really strengthens your hair. Your hair almost like thickens and swells up when you use chebe, and so, literally no shedding. You don't experience no shedding whatsoever. So there are a lot of other practices that you could take on that would strengthen your hair and that would stop shedding. So let us know down below which of these tips have you tried and which one has worked for you, or if you've tried the black tea rinse and what exactly happened after you tried it. Please comment down below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next one. Bye!